Hi, today we're going to paint Penny Parker from Marvel United Spider-Geddon. Penny's first appearance was in Edge of Spider-Verse number 5 in 2014. Penny was all primed, went ahead and used Army Painter Necromancer Cloak for all the gray metal pieces of Spider. And for the red metal, we're going to use Army Painter Fanatic Cool Red Triad system. Starting out with Basilisk Red, we're going to paint all of the red metal on Spider. This is going to be our shadow color. Today's music is by Max Oakland. If you'd like to check out more of his music, there's a Spotify link in the video description. For all the lights, we're going to use Fiendish yellow. For the arm details, we're going to use Deamonic yellow. And then for more of the arm detail between the yellow circles, we're going to use Vallejo monocoated black. Now I'm mixing dark tone and a mixing medium. We like to use Citadel Lahmian medium. Now I'm going to use this mix to shade all of the dark gray metal pieces. I'm also using this to shade the base. Now for the base coats for Penny. For her skin, we're using 1 part Citadel Cadian Fleshtone and 1 part Vallejo Flat Flesh, a 1-for-1 mix. For her white shirt, we're going to start off with Army Painter Company Gray. And her white shirt just shows her collar and the cuffs. For her hair and her sweater, we're going to use Vallejo monocolor black. And as you can see, I did paint her skirt, but I realized it was a little bit too blue for the art, so I'm gonna go ahead and show the colors a little bit later. For her tie, we're going to use Necromancer Cloak. And for her hair clip, we're using Vallejo Yellow Ochre. Now for painting Penny's eyes, I go ahead and painted her eyes and her eyebrows black, and then go in with white, leaving her lashes, and then flat earth for the iris, black for the pupil, and white for the reflection highlight. We're going to mix some Vallejo Light Flesh into the base color, a little bit at a time as we build up the highlights. Penny is a trickier character to paint because she is smaller than most of the Marvel minis. Found this Vallejo blue-gray color. It's a Luftwaffe uniform, and any blue-gray will work. I found this one to be a nice mix for her hair highlights. I like to using a blue-gray to mix in with the black for hair highlights, to differentiate it from her shirt. Now we're going to use Army Painter Matte White to highlight her white shirt. Now I'm mixing in Necromancer Cloak with black. Necromancer Cloak is just a nice dark gray, so any dark gray color will work. and I'm mixing in a little bit more at a time to highlight her shirt and her pants and her boots. And now I'm going to add a little bit of white to the Necromancer cloak I used for her tie to highlight her tie. And then I'm going to highlight her hair clip with some Deamonic yellow. And here, the card is in a sheet protector. I found that this is nice when I'm trying to color match. And here I'm color matching her skirt. So I found that Army Painter Eternal Hunt and Phalanx Blue, a 1-for-1 mix, is a nice shade to match the card art. It was more of a bluish green tealy color than the blue I had originally painted it. And now we're going to add Vallejo Pale Blue to that mix for the first highlight. And I'm just highlighting all the tops of the folds. And then Vallejo Pale Blue for the final highlight. Now that Peni is all highlighted, let's move on to Spider's highlights. For the dark middle, we're going to use Army Painter Necromancer Cloak. Using that wash that has darkened the Necromancer Cloak, we're going to use that as the shadow. So I'm only painting the top surfaces of the dark metal parts. Then we're going to add Uniform Gray to the Necromancer Cloak and pick out smaller highlights where the light would shine off the metal. Just uniform gray and even smaller sections within the last highlight we just painted. ash gray to the uniform gray, and this is going to be the smallest highlight. My edge highlight got a little too thick there, so I went ahead and used an older brush to wipe it off, and we're going to paint it again. Now we're going to use Army Painter Pure Red to map out all the highlights on the red metal. So I've done this technique instead of going from Basilisk Red all the way up to the highlight, because red takes a lot of plates to paint. So I decided to map out the highlighted colors first, so I know where they're going, and then blending the two colors in the middle between the shadow color and the pure red color to make that gradient. So now we're going to take Army Painter Dragon Red, and when the Pure Red and the Basilisk Red meet, we're going to paint right on top of that line to blend those colors. And then to blend the Dragon Red to the Basilisk Red, we're going to use Warp and Fury to make a even smoother gradient between the colors. That's all painted. We're going to use Scarlet by Vallejo, an Army Painter Blood Chalice, a 1-for-1 mix. I like to mix in a Vallejo Scarlet for red highlights because it's an orangey red color. Add a little white to the Vallejo Scarlet for a brighter highlight. To the Vallejo Scarlet for the final highlight. Now for the yellow parts and the legs. So I'm using Vallejo monocolor yellow ochre to paint all the shadowed areas. And this part is tricky. I've painted back and forth between the black and the yellow multiple times. And now I'm going back over with Deamonic yellow to clean up any lines. Adding ice yellow to the Deamonic yellow for the highlight. I'm also using Deamonic yellow for all the light. And then ice yellow at the very end. Now to highlight the section of black between the yellow stripes on the circle, I'm going to use Necromancer Cloak. Just going to mix in some of the, and then just Necromancer Cloak at the very end. Here they are all painted. Let us know what you think in the comments below and what Marvel Mini you'd like to see a video for. You can see more Marvel United minis painted on our Instagram at Gnomes and Brushes. Thanks for watching. See you next time.